Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And here I'm with another one wonderful video of SDLC, so Software Development Lifecycle. And thank you so much, Sunan, once again for this opportunity. Guys, this video may be a little bit longer, but trust me and trust CareersTalk. It will give you complete picture, end-to-end picture, how the software development lifecycle works in the industry. This video will be very helpful for people who are switching into software industry or who are already working in software industry also. Why? Because we are all working. We must have gone through so many processes. You may have some 15 years of experience or 10 years of experience or even in fact more than that. But we don't know many things which we unknowingly we must have done so many things. We don't know this is what we are doing. So those areas I'm going to cover today. Of course, I'm not going to go in deep of each and everything because I'm cautious of time. But still, you will get a better clarity and better understanding what every phase of software development lifecycle is going through, how it is emerges in the market, and what is the final step, and what are all the steps being involved. So it will be very helpful for people who or working as a developer or tester or project manager or even a fresher or business analyst or scrum master, agile coach, because this is something basic like our alphabets. We are all writing paragraph, but we are not sure how the vowels are making and also, right? So similarly, if you're not clear on the software development lifecycle and its process, definitely that going to be a little bit challenging and tricky. So this video helps you to understand the complete picture of software development lifecycle from the beginning till the deployment. Okay, so let's begin. Let me share my screen quickly. I believe you can see my screen. Let me confirm. Okay, so yes, it's end-to-end SDLC movie. Why I mentioned this as a movie, it's not just going to be with PowerPoint presentation. I have made some mind map as well. Some pictures are there, but I'm not sure how much I can take you guys in this short video. So let me try to put it up as much as I can. Okay, let's start. Yes, how many of you aware of this lady? By this time, you must have guessed someone, or otherwise, if you're not guessed, stay tuned in this video. Let me explain you. Let me tell you who is she. If you know, do comment in the comment section. So she's Hamilton, who coined the term software engineering while she was working at NASA for Apollo missions. When she coined this term, she by herself in one of her blog I was going through, so many people made fun of her when she coined the term. What does it mean by software engineering? But she was the first software engineer and she coined the term software engineering. After that, it's not happened now. It's during some 100 years ago, 19, no, sorry, 18 something, not 19 even, that time period. So she was a one pioneer, if I want to say, who was thinking these things and this kind of industry is going to emerge. That time she started this one. So her name is Margaret Hamilton. Okay, so let's see the timeline, how every methodologies, okay, how every frameworks or methodologies emerged into the market, a little bit of overview, completely in the pictorial form, believe me. Okay, let's start up. So 1970, it was a time period where waterfall started to have, okay, when we are always talking about traditional life, SDLC or traditional life cycle, we always talk about waterfall, but more than waterfall, we have many things in the market, which is not maybe quite familiar or may used by many people or many organization or many projects. So this is something waterfall is very common and we all know. We always compare waterfall with agile. Okay. So waterfall has emerged in 1970. We all know how the way waterfall is. It's completely on linear on planning, analysis, logical design, one by one, physical design, implementation, maintenance. This is how it goes one by one, one by one, one by one. So usually the traditional method is so-called, it's not always, it is so-called predictive or IT development methods. Okay. So when someone use the term predictive, don't get confused in your interviews or whatever it is. Traditional method is also called as predictive method. Okay. So next to waterfall, RAD. This is rapid application development. Many may have heard it about, but few may not. Even in fact, for me, it was new when I was going through and I was making this thing. So RAD is some other traditional model. It is also kind of linear style, one by one modeling prototype. Like that only, it has taken place. And then V model. V model is something common. I believe many of us must have heard about it. And this is our V model. So it will start the way the shape V, that is how it starts. Okay. So it will go like T and then take a peak again. And then the spiral model, this is also something we must have heard about it. So spiral model also goes in a loop kind of thing. Okay. And DOD, this is something pretty new for me, to be honest, which I was so surprised by reading this and got a chance to discuss this with one person. So this is something specifically designed for defense system software development. If I want to elaborate this, if you see closely here, every phase how many requirement reviews and design reviews, many reviews are going since it's being developed for the defense thing. The review and the rigidity of this test, which I felt, it's very good because it's something secured and safe they are ensuring. So DoD STD 2167, this is also another one software development lifecycle where mostly on the American defense system software, they have used it widely, not now, during the time period of 1980s. So this was pretty good when I was going through and reading these blogs and everything. So the review system stringent this process and ensuring the safety and the reliability of this one. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. I'm not able to move. I think I will make it short. Okay, so next thing we want to move 1990s and Roop model. One second, guys. So Roop, this is another one thing, but this is not coming under traditional or predictive development methods. It is coming under agile or adaptive methodologies. So Roop model is rational unified process. That means this is an iterative model. This is not like how our waterfall works. This is also an iterative model. It goes in an iterative incremental process. So this is Roop, rational unified process, which came ahead before Scrum. And Scrum framework, pretty much we all know what it is and how it is. And then XP. I love XP a lot more than Scrum, I believe. I I sense because most of the concepts what we are using at this moment in the industry thrives or evolved from XP. For an instance, if I want to say, even the user stories. Okay, so that time the couples only came to this picture, right? This user stories, that concepts evolved and emerged from XP. And pair programming, we are widely using pair programming nowadays to ensure the quality and CI/CD pipeline structures and everything. Uh, So this continuous integration, these are all came from XP. Okay, so XP, we go with XP to ensure the more quality, extreme programming, extreme quality, we will ensure that time only we are going for XP. So this is the XP framework, how it works. And Crystal, to be frank and upfront, I haven't used Crystal. At least I have gone through Kanban, XP, Scrum. I had a little bit of opportunities to cover on these areas. But Crystal is something I never used. But still, I'm looking at in many places in the job descriptions, Crystal, you want to have some idea. But I don't know. But still, however, I captured it and Crystal has many things. Crystal yellow, crystal red, crystal team size. Some colors based on that they have it. If someone is good at this, please do comment and educate us as well. And DSDM. So DSDM, it was in the industry. Nowadays, at least as far as my small knowledge, I'm not seeing this. But again, I'm not sure in any other country, any other region, any other places, or any other project organization or using this DSDM. Okay. And Kanban. We all know how Kanban works. Many must have got a good hands-on experience in Kanban. So Kanban is also a kind of increment that's being delivered. when the progresses comes on. So limit work in progress, WIP limit is one of the beautiful concepts in Kanban and many other things, right? Okay. So this is in short about the software development life cycles, what exist in the market. Okay. So yes, the way we deliver software may get differ, but the phases what we are going through must be the same. There is no differences like without having the requirement, we can start the thing. Without understanding the project, we may not start the thing. And in testing also, if I want to say for an example, the way we are developing or the way we are testing in the waterfall may be different, but the same concept testing applies in Agile as well. So waterfall and Agile, the way we are doing is different, but all the phases are going to be the same. But the phases in waterfall step by step, in Agile, it's go hands on hand parallelly, right? But the phases are same. So we are going to see what this phases means. What are all the segregations on this phases? Okay. So in waterfall in general, we go with the requirement gathering or project plan estimation or something like that. But in terms of Agile, we will identify the customer need along with the business owners or initiatives owners or stakeholders, whoever it is. And then we will come up with the inception meetings and we will derive the business process flow and then we will start, right? So here, business analyst will work with the customers and they get the requirements gathering. Once after the requirement in the design phase, they will come into the picture of functional specification documents being prepared. Guys, if you are very new to the software industry, when you hear the term functional specification document, don't feel like you lost something. So functional specification document is something which is being prepared in the design phase to let know this is how the doc specifications is going to be in a functional ways. Okay. So don't feel that or something they are discussing. So this design phase, it will be prepared. And when coming to the design document, when coming to the coding, actual coding phase will take and testing, SIT or UAT, whatever the testing. Testing is again a vast area, which I will show you today in our mind map, but still I cannot cover all the testing, but I will show you what are all the testing and the explanation maybe we will have in some different session. And the deployment phase, then maintenance will come into the picture, right? So these are all the phases usually we have in our software development lifecycle. Okay. Where do project needs come from before the requirement analysis? Many of us must be working as a scrum master. When we are entering into the team, we must have only the product backlog. We don't even know how this product backlog has been prepared and how this is being captured, right? Where do project needs come from? Okay. The first thing, project or program or product, okay, whatever it is, needs or aspirations or pain points, fears or motivations, something like that. So that is the start point for us to get some project, correct? When you have some pain, then that time only we will evolve and we will identify many things. So that is a start point. And operational effectiveness, cost saving. If in case in your organization you want to scale up something, some inbuilt house project or internal projects must be there, right? So that time and all we can use as operational effectiveness, cost saving, some internal development projects. These and all will come. So this also some kind of requirements. Another one thing is that the regulations, compliance, security, audits. If you're working in the banking domain, more approvals you want to get. Similarly, for the insurance, you want to look at the more compliance, risk stuff, and everything, right? So this is how it is. The domain based on the domains. So if you want to build up something like this, then this comes into the picture of the requirements. Okay. So the first thing is an external driver, the remaining two, the one in the yellow or internal drivers. So requirements come like this. Okay, I'm not going into this requirement analysis. Maybe. So if I want to say the Agile approach is a little bit different before getting into detail, I will just let you know how this traditional and Agile ways of working is working. Okay. So in traditional delivery, we will go like this. Okay. That means go like this in the sense not vertically. The time will get elapsed one by one. But we will go once after analysis, design, code, test, deploy. When we finish our design, people will say that is 50% done. Or when we are finishing our coding, 60% done. But in ideal, in reality, this may not be the case. It varies, right? because we are yet to deliver something to the customer and get to know whether this is what they are interested. It may differ. So, but in waterfall or whatever the traditional methodology, either it can be V methodology or something else. So that time it will go like this. Time will get reduced based on the cycles what we are going through, and we are going one by one. After analysis, we will go for design and code and test. Okay. But in Agile, okay, like this. All together we will deliver analysis, design, code, test, deploy. Like this. Chunk by chunk, we will deliver. But in waterfall, analysis goes first, design goes next, like this. But here, if you see analysis, design, code, test is one phase. Another thing, another phase. This is how it is. See, this is how. Okay. So this is the difference. I hope this picture explains. We will go in a vertical way with the things. So by the time when we say the time will go like this in Agile methodology, by the time in our third sprint, we will say 20% done. That is equal to 100% usable. That really matters. That point really matters. If you see in the slide at last, you know that, yes, I'm 20% only done, but it's 100% usable at this moment. But the same thing when you say in the waterfall, 50% done, it's not usable again. It's like simply a key 50% done. That's it, right? So this is what the difference. Okay, so let me take you guys to this mind map to explain what is SDLC. So SDLC, again, the same phases I have iterated here: requirement, design, coding, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. When we are talking about requirements, okay, many things are there, but we knowingly, unknowingly doing many things some organizations are skipping. It depends on the project. They are not even doing. So the first phase or first thing is eliciting requirement. Okay. So what it means. So the process of uncovering, that means getting know more about and detailing system requirements and necessity. Maybe a business case, if I want to say, necessity a strong understanding of the domain and coming up with the why it is. Okay. So that is the first step, eliciting requirement. This is a step. This is how this is functioning. Please use this kind of terms going forward in your requirement phase or whatever the phase when you're doing it. Okay. And analysis and negotiation. Identify and resolve in this analysis phase any conflicts or any overlaps or any other thing we want to consider. This in this requirement phase, this thing we need to cover. And requirement modeling. So this modeling, what it will do, it will bridge the gap and between the analysis and the design phase. Okay, through visualizations, maybe use case writing, user stories if you are doing in an agile ways of working, or process specifications. When you're writing the user case, user stories, you must have had your business process flow in place in any other form, like any tools you can use to narrate this one. So by that time, you will be ready with the user stories. You have some picture when you're working in this phase itself, right? How it is going to work. This is what it is. So in the eliciting requirement, you are uncovering and detailing system requirements and necessities of why it is needed. What is the pain points? What is the motto behind this one? Those things. Analysis and negotiation, we will identify and resolve any conflicts or overlaps. Sometimes some product you must have built it. Maybe for instance, HDFC Bank mainly target on the salaried employees. Their products are built based on the salaried employees. So in that salary employees also, they will have some cross-cut categories as middle age group, young people, parents, like that. So if there is any overlap of this product, so how can we fix this overlap? Something like that and all they will discuss and analyze and negotiate and then come up with the solution or it's not solution again, come up with the idea to whom you're working for this product, the personas and stuff. Okay. So this is the thing. And the requirement modeling is that after a business process flow in our agile use cases. But if it is a waterfall, we are writing the BRD documents or some natural language document, something like that. Verification, validation, and in fact, review or retrospective, if I want to say. Process of ensuring that the development team is building the right product. Okay. And then management. What are all the factors we want to consider when the development team are building the right product? That is something we will capture in the requirement phase itself when we are doing our inception meetings in terms of agile. Okay, and management. managing change requests, control, and traceability. I should be very specific when I'm using this management term, because in waterfall, once a requirement is freezed and things, if some other change requests are coming, it should be properly documented and necessary sign-offs and necessary approvals should be in place. But when it comes to Agile, we know it, changes are more accepted. Okay. But yes, of course, we are also mapping it, but still, we are happy to accept it. And it's a frequent changes are expected in Agile as well. That is what it is. So I think this phase is clear. Eliciting requirement, analysis and negotiation, requirement modeling, verification and validation, management. So these are all something which is happening in the requirement phase. We may not use these terms in proper in the requirement phases or something like that, but knowingly, unknowingly, we must start working in this phase. Okay. And design. Simple. You don't want to read those things. Design is something where the software architecture or components, modules or anything, any integration components, something like that. Here we will be having the blueprint, like how if we want to construct a home, we have some blueprint to do how, okay, here the kitchen should come, here the restroom should come, here is a master bedroom, that kind of blueprint it is. Similarly, when we are doing our blueprint, everything, every input, every output we will consider, right? If suppose we are crossing the next person's compound, like that as well we will be covering it. That is what design, nothing more than that. Okay. But in design phase, we have a number of things which we may not have. Logical design, physical, architectural, conceptual data modeling, entity relationship model. These are all few things. So logical is, it's an abstract. It won't go in deep and say, it's just an abstract in book. How it's just give an overview. Okay. Like how we are doing some research projects and all, we will submit for our abstract first, right? Even when we are going as a speaker, we need to submit our abstract, right? The same thing happens here. Physical, actual input and output process of the system, like how data is flowing. That is physical. Architecture, high level design of system architecture. So this is HLL. People will say high level design of system architecture, defining the structure and the relationship between various module. This is also something we really want to consider when you guys are, when you in your team, people are using some process, okay, in your meetings or when you're designing your business process flow, that time people will say this is hitting this system, we need to touch the external system. This kind of topics will roll around. That time you need to consider, you need to know what kind of design they are talking, okay? So what system it is touching, what are all the other modules it is touching. This is something being explained under architecture. Conceptual data modeling. Okay, it includes all entities, I mean it. So small entities we must have need to finish off this project. So this is conceptual data modeling. Inside the organization, we will look at this, what are all the entities and relationship, not only inside. Sometimes we may the need to hit third-party system. We may the need to hit our vendor system. And internally, some other projects, some other systems, we may the need to hit it, right? Hit and get the services, something like that. Everything is interdependent with each other, correct? So similarly, here in this conceptual data modeling, we need to look what are all the entities this particular project or program it's going to have or product. So that touch point we need to get. Based on that understanding, we want to align with the current scope, what we have, what are we about to develop. And entity relationship model is another one thing utilized in the database design. When if you guys are a software, sorry, database engineers or database administrators, those area working closely on the back end of database activities, database activities, you must have heard about this entity relationship model, how each entity is relevant to each other, and the diagrammatic explanations will be there. So this elucidate the connections among different entities within an organization. What are all the entities? Those things it will give you. So these are all the phases and these are all the things under the design phase. I hope it is a little bit clear. If you feel it's overwhelmed, pause the video and then go through it once again. Okay. So coding and development, this is something coding. Developers write the actual code for the software, creating its features and functionality. Developer actually write the code. That is what it is. Integration. It's not just like being in a bigger organization or some product I'm developing. I just want to develop the coding. No, whatever it is, you want to integrate that with some other components or some other modules or some other system. Correct. If I want to do the banking, some transactions or something, it's not like I want to be ensure with the source of fund and thing. Some payment thing I want to payment domain or payment tool or whatever it is, I want to tap with this. I want to integrate with that. That is what integration. So different parts of the software often developed separately or combined to work together as a whole. Component testing phase. In coding, okay. So if you're new, please understand testing has many phases, but when you're doing your coding itself, then that time itself, developers will cover the unit testing functionality. That particular piece of code is working properly or not. Okay, so each part of software is tested individually to ensure it works correctly. That is what component testing phase. Review and revision. In agile terms, pair programming, the code is regularly checked and correct and improved the quality to fix errors. That is what being used in agile as a pair programming. And then version control. Yes, when you are doing your coding, you need to set up a version controls, CI/CD pipelines, and branching strategies. These things and all. But in terms of agile, this is being taken care in coding phase in waterfall or traditional methodology. But in terms of agile, before we start sprint 1, we will set it up this environment. Trunk-based approach if you want, or CI/CD pipeline setup, database, versioning control. These are all few things we will do in our agile ways of working before even our sprint 1. Okay. And documentation. Developers may write some documents within comments within the code to explain how it works, aiding the future maintenance and updates. So when they say this is finished, by that time only the coding phase has done. During your coding phase, developers may talk about API, technical specification documents, configuration guides, user guides, data modules, something like this. Even though you are a scrum master, you should have some basic knowledge and understanding of some basic technical stuffs. You don't want to have over knowledge or you don't want to be an expert, but still it is always good to have some basic knowledge, what it means by API documentation, what it means by API specifications, of code commands, technical specifications, this things. So this will help you. In this phase only, we will do all these activities. When coming to testing, 74 sub items are there, but don't get tense. So steps for testing. The first thing is that analysis. They want to do analysis and they want to, more than developers, I always sense testers should have the better understanding of the requirement and why are we building this product. So if the testers have this better understanding, then things will be easily falling under their control. So more than developers, testers should have a great understanding about the business, about the product, about the requirement. Okay. So analysis, test planning, test case development, test environment setup, test execution, test cycle closure. These are all the steps. In waterfall, after the development or when the development is in the midway, testers started to do this test planning and test case development, environment setup and all. But in agile ways of working, they will do it the initial time itself. That means before sprint 1, they will do some basic environment setup and all. During the sprint 1, when the developers start doing the coding, they will parallelly start writing the test case development and remaining stuff. Okay. And functional testing. I'm not going to get into each and every pieces of functional testing, but I will let you know what is functional testing. There are two different way you can keep the testing. Functional testing and non-functional testing. Okay. So functional testing is something which will cover unit testing, which happens and which is being done by or taken care by developers. And integration testing, in unit testing itself, many things are there, white box testing, gorilla testing, so many things, but I'm not going into deep. Integration testing. Integration testing is nothing. I'm building something and I want to integrate this with someone's system, then that time it will go as an integration testing. that is integration, and system testing. Okay. So system testing is like end-to-end testing. But again, it depends on the organization to organization who wants to go with what testing. Black box testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, just a sanity check, light check. That also can done. Happy path testing. That means it won't cover any negative scenarios. Happy path, it means happily they will do. Like this is what the expectation. If this clicks, what happens? That's it. What if the question is not at all in place? What if the customer or what if the end user clicks this one? It won't come into the picture. System testing. Okay. So acceptance testing. In Agile, we always hear user acceptance criteria or user acceptance testing. So this is something UAT, business or customers will test and let us know where are we standing and what is the feedback. This is acceptance testing. Okay, so these are all something under functional testing. One thing I really want to say here is that how much of our functional testing is important, the same way our non-functional testing is also really important. Okay. It's not like how much we are earning or getting into the market and improving our salary. This is our functional. We are doing it and making it. Similarly, how are we managing our money? This is also matters. If you are earning, but we are not managing our money, what is the point of it? Again, we will always in the need to work and we will be running behind money. So this is a similar thing. Functional testing is something which covers on the features and the development or whatever it is. Non-functional testing is a supportive system which really we want to focus. Otherwise, whatever we are developing, whatever we are doing, will be based over a period of time or will not be very productive. Even if I want to rephrase the term waste, it may not be very productive and very helpful. It will be out or out of sync. Non-functional testing. Security. So under security, we will come penetration testing will come. Few organizations are picking up penetration testing. Few organizations are not. Depends on the business, depends on the product, depends on the requirement. Performance testing. Performance, it means it can be load, stress, or volume, endurance, scalability. This is what I said. You are earning lakhs and lakhs, but you don't know how to manage your money. You don't know. That performance will be degraded. Okay, over a period, you will get stress. Okay, and usability. So usability testing is the testing. Under usability also, how frequently a user's perspective, it is user friendly, that kind of testers will be done. Exploratory testing or cross browser testing, cross device testing, like Android mobile, iOS mobile, Chrome, Internet Explorer, Safari, this kind of testings will happen under usability testing. Compatibility, how it is running in different networking environment, how compatible it is. These kind of testings will happen in the testing environment. Okay. And deployment. Deployment is something crucial. Early days, the deployment is something, if I remember correctly, still during the weekends only the deployment happens. Before deployment, we want to prepare a big strategy, documents, and environment set, proper version controlling. And the weekend we should be in office to make this deployment happens. And some operations teams will be there to do and help us with the deployment. Okay. But nowadays, in agile ways of working, the CI/CD pipelines, DevOps, the concept of development plus operations comes together. These things are getting better and easier for us to do. So the deployment strategy should be there. How are we going to deploy? At what point of deployment? The strategies should be in place before we do deployment. Deployment preparatory activities, testing, deploy, monitor. Okay. So this is how it is. So once after we move the code, we as the developers will do some kind of basic testing, then they will deploy. After deployment also in the production environment, we will just do some sanity checking whether this functionality, some basic important functionalities are working properly. Like that, we will do check, monitor. Then only we will return home in early days. Nowadays, everything is becoming automated. Deployment happens even in Amazon and all. If you see 0.68 milliseconds, they will say like that deployment is happening quite often. So there is no schedule and all. Deployment is very frequent in the retail industries and all. And maintenance. So once after it deployed, of course, we may have on top of it some enhancements, some bugs may be there. Okay, it's quite common and quite acceptable. Whatever we are doing, it cannot be perfect all the time, and there is no such a term called perfect as well. So bug fixing, upgrade, enhancements. When we want to do this, maybe when we implement the system, I have been into this upgrade projects and all. We must have been using some way back softwares or tools, that kind of things should be replaced now. So that kind of upgrades things will happen in the maintenance. Okay, so in maintenance, we can do enhancement, bug fixing, upgrade. In agile ways of working, this can be picked up by Kanban. It's up to again organization team. They can decide if suppose this kind of activities are coming, which framework is best for them. Enhancement, if they might go for Scrum or something else, or even they can pick it up in Kanban itself. It depends on the scope, it depends on the organization and the team, how they want to work. But in waterfall, specific maintenance team would be there. I was being part of maintenance team as well. So I used to work on the small kind of enhancements, bug fixings, upgradation, those things. Okay. So I hope this video helps. And in this video, I think hereafter going forward, if any of your team members are talking these terms, you must be in the position to understand what they are talking, at least little bit, not a deep one, at least little bit understanding, you must have it, right? So this is what it is. I hope this video helps you a lot. If you have any other opinion, difference of opinion, or any other more thought process, more ideas, or more good explanations, any other concepts, if I missed it, feel free to comment in the comment section so that we can all learn from each other. Knowledge is all about sharing, right? Okay, friends, I think I am done with this. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sunand, for this wonderful opportunity again. Thank you all.